Good morning.
Good morning.
This is Siava, Lisa Wolf, with the Mending the Hoop Council. This is Friday, May 20th, and I want to welcome to the council our special guest, Kennedy Carr of SarvaDharma. And Kennedy, since I'm going to ask you, I'm not going to ask you to sing, but I am going to ask you, as a bodhisattva, if you would please do us the honor of doing the opening benediction. I'm sure that you have prayers in your heart.
Okay, I'll do more of a science of mind treatise that I'm familiar with, and calling in all the saints, sages, masters of light, Jesus, Krishna, Buddha, Allah, all the great sages of India, all the masters of light and love. We call upon you to sit here with us here in council, be with you here in council, and guide us here in council as we go ahead and try to uplift and restore righteousness and truth on the planet, and to end the suffering of all sentient beings. May it be so, and so it is. I hope.
Hi. So, Kennedy, in our last meeting, we began exploring the situation that you have found yourself in, and it's an issue that affects you, but it's also a larger issue. Would you be so kind as to introduce yourself, and also give us a synopsis and an update on what you're facing?
Absolutely. My name is Kennedy Carr. I've been world sacred music producer, impresario to the Sacred Muse, festival producer, event producer, advocate of all people of all walks of life, loving all and serving all for the last 25 years. Recently, my mother had taken the ill a couple of years ago, and I decided to move down to where she was living. She lived in Baja California. She's been a retired gringo down there for about 25 years, and she's getting up there in age. She was about 81 when I moved down. She just passed about 3-4 months ago, back in December. Anyways, I had found a nice little 2-bedroom casita on the beach down in Ensenada for about $500, and had become familiarized with the community somewhat, and got to know some of the folks, and became quite popular. Wherever I go, people generally seem to love me and appreciate me. I was seen with this one little senorita, and on a couple of different occasions. She'd decided to come over to my house and brought a friend with her, and we were dabbing, shooting shit, what have you. And she asked me for a massage, and I gave her a therapeutic massage, and it was very loving, very kind. Anyways, we were sitting out in my living room, and her friend said, "Hey, my friend says that you might be able to help us." "Oh, yeah, maybe. What do you got?" "Well, we work with a lot of families, different franchise families who have been separated due to the immigration status. And some of the people have been working in the United States for over 30 years, and ICE decided to go ahead and find them and send them back to Mexico. And it's been, up on the news quite a bit. And so I had a lot of, compassion, understanding." So she asked, "Well, we need is somebody to bring down maybe some money. Money is like, I know by laws you can't you bring forth back and forth a report. We got to report anything over $10,000, and so anything other than that, I thought was legal, but come to find out it wasn't. I talked to my attorney, and he did say that it's illegal to bring any money unreported back over the border. So I made an error there. And anyways, I met with them about maybe 3, 4 more times. My friend that I had been seeing brought over maybe 4 different women on 3 different occasions, and we got to know each other. I got to know them. They were, in age 45 to 55, grandmothers, mothers that had kids, and heavy set and life in their eyes. They were not seemingly like drug addicts whatsoever. Seemed legit. And so we made an arrangement that I was going to go over the border. I needed to make a border run that week anyways, check my mail and do some shopping. I was going to meet one of the women over on the other side over to a Walmart and hook up with her and drive back down, with, a small sum of money, nothing more than, I was guesstimating probably $5,000 to $6,000, whatever, to help some families out. And my heart was pure. It was totally innocent and pure. And from coming from a vow of a bodhisattva, I thought I was doing some people some good. These were grandmothers. Anyways, my van was broken at that time. I needed a new battery. I was financially to the curb coming down to the end of the month. I'm drawing a Social Security retirement right now, and so I get $1,000 a month, which isn't a whole lot of money here in the United States, but in Mexico, most of the people down there only make $600 to $800 a month. So you can get by, but you're surviving, you're not thriving on $1,000 a month. So I was to the curb, and they offered me a small amount of money for doing them a favor. They came by and picked me up a Wednesday and around afternoon and drove me to the car. One of the cars that one of the women that was having work done on, she'd said she'd lived over there on the American side of the border. Was a late model car that had fully registered plates and fully legitimate car that seemed cool. Driving over the border. So I get in the car and I got my mom's poodle with me, the little toy poodle. So I'm just a retired gringo going over to do some shopping. So I come up to the Otay Mesa border crossing. Mr. Carr, I had him my passport, my driver's license. Mr. Carr, did you pop the trunk? I said, sure. Pop the trunk. Went around the windows with a little crowbar, trying to light all around the 4 windows. All of a sudden, there's 6 Homeland Security agents telling me to get out of the car and put my hands behind my back. You're under arrest. So what the hell? And prior to this, I actually talked to the grandmas. I said, hey, look, this has got to be totally legit. I do not do drugs. I'm not involved in drugs. I don't want anything related to any cartel or any drug related. Are you sure this is totally? Oh yeah, you're not bringing any drugs, are you? I said, hell no. I've been crossing the border, since 1982. I know the restrictions. I know what they do at the border. They bring out dogs and you search your cars and so forth. I've been maybe secondary, maybe 3 times and maybe 150 times across the border. Maybe 3 times. And that was only because I was in a car or truck that was filled to the windows and they couldn't see in. So they wanted to x-ray the car or whatever. So after that, I was put in a holding cell for 24 hours before I was expedited to a detention facility. When I got to the detention facility, they asked me if there was anything medically wrong with me. I said, well, I'm an older gentleman and I do have an enlarged prostate and have to get up and urinate frequently throughout the course of the night. well, I think we should go ahead and send you over to the hospital and get that checked out. You might have some complications around maybe prostate cancer. I said, okay, I'm open to that. Piece of hell out of going into jail right now. So they sent me over to the hospital and checked me in there and put a catheter in up me and IV drip in my arm and shackled me to a hospital bed and put two armed guards out in front of my bed. And I look like I'm going to escape. Anyways, I sat and they ran about $30,000 worth of tests on me, which was kind of good, or what I would normally take me about 6 weeks to go through all those tests. They did in about 5 days. So that's a good thing. And I'm being able to get all those records sent to my primary care physician, get a real thorough checkup and treatment for my prostate. So, but the whole time I was in the hospital, I was not able to make a phone call. The whole time that I was at Homeland Security at the border, I was not able to make a phone call. So after I got out and was released and sent back to the detention facility, which is federal jail down in San Diego County, I then spent the next 7 days in what they call COVID-19 quarantine. And so I spent 7 days in the quarantine. I still wasn't able to make a phone call outside, not speak to any attorney. And when I did finally get released into the general population, I found out that my community and family thought I was dead because they had not heard from me in over 2 weeks, and started a Facebook group. Where's Kennedy? This is, blah, blah, blah. And finally, when I made a phone call and they found out that I was still alive, they alerted my community at large, my global community at large, and let them know that I was alive and still well, and was faced with charges of possession and trying to bring it over narcotics over the border. A very large amount of narcotics, I have to say, extremely large amount of narcotics. So there I was, downtown federal jail, San Diego, California. I'm able to make phone calls now. I get 15 minutes every day, calling out. Got one particular person, Tess, a beloved that I shared time with for a number of years, seemed to be my only reliable source of contact. And they started a WhatsApp trying to raise the bail. The bail was up to $25,000 security bond. And actually, nobody wanted to take a risk on getting me out. They thought I'd be more safer in jail because of the large amount of drugs that were found in the car. Finally, my attorney talked to my beloved Tess and told her, Tess, there's 100. The cartel sends over 100 cars every day, and 50 of them make it, and 50 of them don't. And all those people are innocent. And so she was a little bit more relieved that by getting me bailed out of jail, that the cartel was going to be after me. I did not know those drugs were in the car, and if I'd known about it and I was tempted to steal it, then naturally they're going to come after me. But that wasn't the case. So I finally got bailed out on May the 4th. May the 4th be with you. Prior to Cinco de Mayo, the day of Mexican liberation. And my attorney was kind of cute and poignant. I look at all the omens. He comes to me after 2 weeks while I'm in general population. Finally get to speak to an attorney. Hands me his card, and I look at it and it says, Jesus. I said, Jesus, I've been praying to you for 2 weeks. Where the hell have you been? I said, well, it just happens to be Good Friday. So needless to say, I thought, well, shit, this is kind of cool. It's the day of resurrection is Easter Sunday, so I might be getting out on Monday. But no, that wasn't the case. That my resurrection didn't happen until May the 4th. So now I'm currently out on bail and gone to court twice. June the 3rd, I go for a hearing where their pretrial hearing, where the DA is going to present evidence against me and my attorney is going to present our evidence. I've got a stack of letters, hopefully, over 100 strong from people from all over the world that know me. Like I said, I've been in the entertainment business, the spiritual entertainment business for 25 years now. So I'm getting a lot of love and support right there. When I got out, I spent 10 days in a nice safe house in a very luxurious home in Rancho Santa Fe. Get my health back, get the coloring back. I was fed, nothing but starchy food, and I've been on nothing but a vegan diet ever since, and doing the best I can to, get my strength back, my vitality back, my health back. And now we're currently broadcasting from a sober living home here in Lemon Grove, California. I thought would be quite poignant to show the course that, I'm in a very safe, secure place. I haven't had a substance abuse problem or any type of alcoholism for about, since 1991. I fortunately grew up in Alaska and my dad owned 17 liquor stores. So I have a Scotch-Irish background. And so I inherited the disease of alcoholism from my family. So I've been clean and sober for a number of years and even worked in the field. I have degrees in behavioral science, chemical dependency. I have degrees in counseling psychology and religious studies from San Diego State University. Worked in the field for 10 years and then went on to the field of transformational therapist for a number of years before I found that I was able to hold a real sacred space for people. And after about 10 years of holding people in my arms while they start their negative core beliefs from the family of origin and post-traumatic stress disorder, and help them let them know that they are loved, they are worthy, and try to help them restore their life, normal life, rather than a life of addiction and alcoholism. So after that, I went into the entertainment business. I told myself, hey, I want to have proof to myself that I could have just as much fun getting, being sober and straight and sober that I was when I was getting high. So that's kind of like where my life started. My first show was with Bhagavan Das in 1994. I produced probably over 100 events plus since then. So here I sit. Now, one of the things I came to realize while I was watching this whole movie unfold that I was playing a role in was that I started looking at where's all this money? Most of the when I was in jail, I noticed 98% of the population was all Latinos. Some of them were first-time offenders coming over the border trying to enter into the United States, and they're getting 4 to 8 years. I started looking at that, and I looked at those 2 armed guards that were outside my hospital room 24 hours a day, posting about how much money they were making. Who's paying for all this? Which is the jail, all the jailers, all the things it takes to house a person in jail. Who's paying for all this? And then I started putting some things together and started thinking about big pharma. The narcotic that I happened to have been accused of knowingly bringing across was methamphetamine. Methamphetamine is made from ephedra, which was one of the primary ingredients for decongestants. So basically, methamphetamine is concentrated decongestants to people that smoke, sniff, put in their arm. And this is manufactured by Big Pharma. In the United States, it's been regulated quite extensively to where they've created a thing called pseudoephedra. And in Mexico, it's still deregulated to where cartel can still buy as much ephedra as they want for pills and all sorts of different ways of attaining ephedra and manufacturing methamphetamine. Now, those same pharmaceutical companies that are making ephedra on both sides of the border are the same drug companies that are financing a great deal of politicians. There's lobbyists all through Washington, D.C. that, support a lot of the politicians' political campaigns. So I'm trying to put all this together, and at the same time, I know I'm not guilty. The whole world knows I'm not guilty, and I'm, see an opportunity here because of that I am a well-known personality within the scope of the global community of bodhisattvas or people of the light, that I might be able to be an example to spread awareness to this problem, severe problem. Because basically what I'm seeing is becoming just like Nazi Germany. There's detention facilities from Washington, from Texas to Arizona to California, all along the borders, detaining women and children and first-time offenders of Hispanics from Central America and Mexico, all trying to enter into the United States. First-time offenders are getting 4 to 8 years in the federal jail. So something's wrong with it. So I don't know. That's basically what my story is. It's where I sit and I'm at right now. I'm, looking at all sorts of avenues to bring awareness. I happen to grew up in a political family in Alaska. My grandfather was on the House of Representatives during Alaska's early statehood. Sat behind Senator Lisa Murkowski in the 11th grade. We're both the same age. We were in philosophy class together, Anchorage, West High. So got contacts into her. So trying to be the change. Trying to turn this movie around. I mean, who gave the law of the land to the big pharma? I mean, with the pandemic that just came through and it's still happening, and Bill Gates is saying this, we haven't seen the tip of it yet. Big pharma has taken over the world. I mean, what the fuck? So it's on you, baby.
So what does your attorney think?
I have a talk. Jesus, I have a talk with Jesus on Friday. I mean, naturally, I pled not guilty to my arraignment. I'm sticking to that. Naturally, he's going to try to convince me to take a plea bargain here at this next thing, and everybody's convinced me, Kennedy, do not sign anything, do not take any bargains. You're not guilty. So that's kind of like, he works for the courts just as much as the prosecuting attorney does. He makes money and gets his paycheck from the same people. So I wrote a nice letter to him here recently. I said, with a name like Jesus, and he worked with in Los Angeles with a lot of the DACA kids out of LA. So I'm hoping and praying that he's as much of a freedom fighter as I am. We have a meeting.
I mean, don't they have to?
What's that?
Don't they have to prove that
That I have
you knew?
They have to prove that I had knowledge that I knew that the drugs were until the 27th through June the 3rd. I don't know what kind of evidence the prosecutor's attorney are going to base their evidence on, but I'll be able to find that out then. But no, I have no knowledge of. I would not do that. Come on, give me a break. 100 pounds of methamphetamine. You think I would take a risk with my freedom and destroy the lives of people here on the streets of the United States by bringing that nasty foul substance into America? No fucking way.
Right.
My friend, but I'm a little upset about this.
Understandably.
They want to give me 4 years. 4 years.
Yeah. So You've gotten over 100 letters. And there's a benefit coming up.
We're working
Is
on a
that
benefit
correct?
for sure. Yeah, for sure. Like I said, this is the early stages. Let's see what the prosecuting attorney's got. We're going to see what kind of what my attorney is going to do before we go to trial. A lot of times these things take a couple of months, if not longer. So give us play. If they don't drop the charges, shame on them. We'll be able to really send out a clarion call around the world, and hopefully you'll write a song about this, Siava.
Yes, hopefully
Well,
so.
Bob Dylan wrote a song with Hurricane Harris. So hopefully, I don't know. I'm maybe sounding a little maniacal, but I'm really wanting to bring some awareness. I've contacted the Amnesty International on this and try to get some advocacy from them as well.
So, it's pretty outrageous. I mean that, that people are being set up as as mules
Let me tell
unbeknownst.
you something. What they're doing there, and when I was living down in Baja, I got a job working as a journalist for Baja News, really promoting and advocating, because what I was seeing in the United States during the whole pandemic looked like it was becoming a real strong police state, and people they're medicalizing they're medicalizing and institutionalizing society right now. So I thought by fleeing to Mexico, living down there would be a good thing for my entire um, global family, or some of us who live outside the box here in California, anyways. We even looked at starting a off-grid community down in five hours south, a place called Punta Baja, with my friend Swami Tathagat, who was instrumental in the early days of Osho Commune International. And we're starting wanting to build alternative communities down there. But now I'm not so reluctant to be a promoter of Baja California. People are in lines, and I'm just telling people who go back and forth that to be very careful, because I was even in jail with a kid. They come up and stick metal boxes up underneath the cars that have magnets on it, and they'll follow that car across the border until it parks, and then have some kid come over and reach up underneath that car and pull it out. So it could be anybody: your grandmother, your mother, your cousins, your uncles, your kid. They could be all victims to this type of behavior.
So, going forward, your next court is June 3rd. How can people help?
Send in a letter if you know me or anything. That'd be nice. To Nancy underscore Nancy small underscore Cuevas Cuevas @fd.org. That's Nancy Cuevas. Nancy underscore Cuevas @fd.org. That's one way to do it. If you're in the San Diego bioregion and you want to come in and support me in person, I do believe the hearing is at 1:30 in the Edwin Schwartz Federal Courthouse at 220 Broadway. That'd be another way.
Is
And
there
I'll keep you posted on whether or not, when and if we have a benefit. Will probably more than likely be held at the World Cultural Center in Balboa Park.
is there potentially going to be a Zoom link to the court proceedings as well?
Oh no, not this,
Not
not Not on June 3rd, no.
All right.
Potentially, if it does go to a hearing, for sure. But not on preliminary hearing. Yeah.
Well,
It's
thanks
like
for
playing
joining.
poker. It's like playing poker. If you ever played Texas Hold'em, you get 2 cards down and you flip 3 up and you make your bet, and you flip your card, 1 card over and make another bet, flip another card over and make another bet. So it's kind of the way the criminal justice system works as well. It's hide and seek and bluffing each other. And what you got? Well, this is what I got. The best hand wins.
Well, thanks for joining us, Kennedy, and I hope that this helps in
Oh, for sure. Thank
raising
you. Thank you for
awareness and
inviting me.
support.
Thank you. I was, I noticed you posted up on your wall there how we first met with Dennis Kucinich's fundraiser, and you were singing with Guy Sunlight Saxon of the Seeds. It was quite a memorable moment. And I
Yes.
remember Carol, I forget her last name. She brought Timothy Leary's ashes to spread at the event. So it was pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Yes, I mean,
A
you've
long
had
time,
a
20
really,
years ago. 2002? 2000?
yes,
Yeah,
you were,
20 years ago. 20 years ago.
yes, absolutely. The work that you did with me for Nomads Aid for the Spiritual Right to Camp initiative
Yeah,
was,
you remember when we got ticketed up there at the Self-Realization Fellowship for sleeping in our van?
yes, I do. I do remember that.
You remember when we had our little benefit down there at Moonlight Beach, and it was start pouring down rain? We were down there trying to feed the homeless. That was quite
Yes, I
amusing.
remember that. I remember, Hamsalila and Frida. I really hope that everyone who you've helped over the years to bring bhakti music and, you know, enlightenment and liberation through song and celebration stands with you, because this is an injustice in action, and it's not right. So I want to thank you for joining us, and I'm glad that we've had this time to purely focus on your situation. And I want to thank you for coming to the Mending the Hoop Council, and may the situation be mended. And I'm going to ask you to do the closing, and it's just so.
Closing. I don't. I do good invocations, but I don't do too many closings. Lord Jesus, Masters of Light, Buddha, Allah, Krishna, we thank you for taking it here, sitting here with us here in council as we delve deeply into our own truths and have this beautiful satsang experience. And we hope that it makes a difference as we send it out into the morphogenetic field to assist and help and uplift and free all the innocent people who are unjustly accused of similar offenses. I ask in the name of Jesus Christ, Jesus, my attorney, and of the judges that reign over us, that you see to it that we all become free. Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you.
And look forward to having you again. And we'll stay on top of this and just visualizing you happy, healthy, and free in the years going forward. And thank you for being part of the mending of the hoop and the healing of the earth.
Thank you, Lisa. Always there for you. Love you.
Yes, love you too.
Bye.
Doksha. Thank you everyone for joining us.